Okay, who's ready to have fun? First thing we should do is get rid of these rows because rows of chairs are the least fun. So let's do like freestyle. Bring a chair, grab it, bring it over, just come like around because I don't want to look at rows of chairs. That is not fun for me. Yay! Circle or half circle or star or let's see, what other shapes are there? Oval. Just say all the shapes. We're gonna completely mess up the furniture because rearranging furniture is fun for ladies. How close do you want to be to us?
Somebody in maintenance will be there.
Yeah, no, I'm friends with that John, the nice man. Remember John, the building manager? Okay. I already feels more fun.
Much more fun.
Yay! Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Who is beginning?
I can start.
I think Robin.
I thought, oh, am I starting?
Wait, I think you're starting.
Oh, it said Laurel, so I wasn't sure.
Let me learn how to do so welcome to the Energizing Advocacy, a fun-filled workshop. So we like to have fun because it's better than no fun and it prevents burnout. Yes, we can get very tired about this. So, okay. So for the icebreaker, we are going to share some of our favorite jokes. If you have a joke memorized, then this is the time for you to share it. Do you want to get going, Robin?
I will get us started. Okay, you're in your kitchen. Hi, Erin, have a seat.
We're having fun telling jokes. This is our icebreaker.
You're in your kitchen. You see two flies in your kitchen. Well, how do you know which one is the cowboy? You'll know. Oh, he's the one on the range.
Okay. Laughing is obligatory. You think it's a stupid joke. Fake it till you make it. Okay. What stays out all night on St. Patrick's Day?
What stays out all night?
I've got some Irish girls around me. Patio furniture.
That's great.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, that's a joke that I know. Patio furniture. Oh, patio furniture. Does anyone in the audience have a joke? Because we can keep going. Does anyone have a joke that they've memorized? A go-to joke?
I used to.
I have one. I just told it to you. In the meantime, Mary, hit us.
Well, I recently wrote a book on reverse psychology, but please don't read it.
Do not read that book. Who here has used reverse psychology before? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, great.
I remember my joke. So the other day, I mixed up the word jacuzzi and yakuza, and now I'm in hot water with the Japanese mafia.
Okay, that's a great one. I don't even know what yakuza is. That's such a cultural joke. It's an extremely cool circle. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
We're just having fun by messing up the furniture. This is the way we're gonna have it fun workshop. We're also telling jokes. Lauren, do you have a go-to joke that you tell in court? Or that
Don't tell me jokes in court.
okay.
You have a go-to joke.
Hit us with it.
If you're American outside the bathroom, where are you inside the bathroom? No noise?
No.
European.
Good one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Angie, do you want to do the final joke?
Sure.
Okay.
So what did the green grape say to the purple grape?
Breathe, breathe. All right, so just you wait, we got more jokes coming. All right, so we are going to hand it over to Robin, and I don't know if these slides are reversed, Robin. One might be first, right?
It's first, right there.
Okay, you might have to go back to the state strategy.
Oh,
and
no,
then-
that's, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
okay.
All right, okay, going back, this is what we're gonna talk about today. All right, let's go. So this is me and my family. I live in northwest corner of Montana, which is near Glacier National Park. And anyway, we're just so happy. My husband and I are both retired, but we do a lot of volunteer work. And we're so happy that our daughters live nearby. And we're just an outdoors family. So besides walking the dogs, which we do a lot, we like to hike and ski. And we've got an electric boat that we take out on our nearby lake. So we're just a very outdoorsy family. So yeah, I just wanted to start off talking about, oh, I didn't tell about me, my CCL journey. So I'm on my 6th year with CCL, and I started off as a chapter leader right away because the previous chapter leader wanted to just get out of the business of being the leader. And then, but now I am I'm a state coordinator for Montana, but I also recruited Angie to be a co-leader, and Laurel's in my chapter, and I work closely with Mary. So we're just a tight-knit group here. All right, so I want to talk today about how we got started with a state strategy. So in Montana, we have been just so lucky to have really talented people on our leadership team. It's amazing. And so one of our leaders, Angie, she is a retired business executive, and she loves strategy. So we were so lucky for her to, we're so lucky for her to share that talent with our leadership team. And she got us started last fall. And so we did a month-long effort of providing input to the strategy, and then we had a strategy session in December. So we are all still smiling afterwards. It was actually a lot of fun. So we're just, we really started with thinking about how to make the impossible happen. And it was just a really fun process. So there were so many wonderful ideas, and it was difficult for us to choose, what we should work on, but we did hone it down to these 3. So we formed 3 strategy teams with our leadership team. And so first we realized that thriving chapters are the foundation of having all of our goals achieved. So we're focusing on building skills for our chapter leaders. And with education, we want to focus on climate solutions. So we want to be known as providing solutions, not talking about problems. So that is our focus on climate solutions, on education. And then finally, lobbying. We feel like we actually are pretty good at lobbying, but we do have, like one of our members of Congress doesn't have a permanent liaison. We've got someone stepping in to handle that role. So we can see a need to expand lobbying and get maybe some co-liaisons. Okay, so it all starts with belonging. We found that we've just got to find fun ways to build chapter participation. So this is an example of a walk. So we'll do some Saturday morning, just really short 1-hour walks. And it's a great way to get to know people in your chapter. We also we developed a best practices guide. And once chapter leaders are consistent, they've got their meetings going every month, and they understand how to use CCL Community fully, then we have other ideas for them on how to improve volunteer involvement. And then the other thing I want to mention is I just can't stress enough how important it is to call your people. So, call them for chapter meeting reminders, call them to check in, call them to let them know about, your meeting coming up or your walk coming up. So call your people. That's just really important. All right. So on our best practices guide, we did have our chapter leaders self-assess themselves, how they're doing, and we're hoping to improve that by the end of the year, that they'll increase their assessment. Okay. Education on solutions. So we have goals to present to, we have a number of presentations we want to make this year. And one thing that we found is if we follow the CCL's advice on various activities you can have, we find that that's the best way to get into doing some presentations and be invited to be on the radio, for example. So we did a snowman protest. We dropped off constituent letters. Bill Barron came and toured Montana. We're planning an Earth Day event. So with all of these things, we do press releases and we get invitations to give presentations or, interviews. Also, we want to get to know local organizations better. So we have done things like a joint trash pickup. So we're going to try to do more of that, more outreach with organizations. Oh, that computer's restarting, but this one's not. This one. Okay, effective lobbying. Yeah, so I did mention we want to build up our liaison team, but also it's really important to, when you get a new member in your chapter, invite them to come to an in-district meeting, invite them to go lobby and give them a role. Make sure that they can ask a question and be active in the lobby meeting. That's how we feel we're going to grow some more liaisons. But also it just helps volunteers feel like they're making a difference than they are when they do it. So, okay, well, I think that's the end of my slides. So I went over our 3 strategies, and now I'd like to hand it over to Mary Mulcair-Jones to take a deeper dive into chapter development.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yay, Robin. Yay, good job.
I'm Mary Mulcair-Jones. I'm the leader of the Missoula CCL chapter. My family and I have lived in Montana for 33 years, the last 6 or 7 in Missoula, which is about how long I've been involved with CCL. My work background includes teaching and counseling, but this is what I do these days. I spend my time working on CCL activities, gardening and growing flowers in my yard, working out at the gym and hanging out with my grandkids. So cute.
You are so cute.
So we like to say that CCL is all about building relationships, including relationships with your chapter members. And what better way to build relationships and increase participation than by throwing a little communal fun into the organizing mix. Hosting a potluck where members can interact in a more relaxed and informal setting is a great example of a communal activity.
Can I just interrupt to say I think it's fun and funny that most of your pictures, even the people inside, people are wearing jackets.
Welcome to
Montana. Montana. So here's a potluck the Bozeman chapter hosted. This was our last Christmas potluck, and to add a little extra fun to our Christmas potluck, we started off with a white elephant gift exchange that included a team competition where the teams had to try to stack their unwrapped gifts and create the highest tower. So
Amazing.
it was
Amazing.
a boisterous icebreaker, and given that everybody stayed an hour past the official event end time, I think it served its purpose. So here's some other examples of fun events. We see the Kalispell chapter at a bowling event, gathering for a ski day at Big Mountain. Kalispell hosted a paint and drink wine evening that sounded like a lot of fun. Some of you may have hosted pub talks.
Anyone? Pub talks?
I think a chapter in Utah did that.
Like,
For Colorado, okay. So,
You don't have to have.
oh, yeah, sorry,
You're in Utah.
wrong state.
We talked about it a bunch.
Yeah, yeah, or you can hold your chapter meeting at a pub if you're not in Utah.
You did that, right?
We did, yeah, and it was a lot of fun. So you want, just start with an activity that you enjoy or brainstorm with your chapter members and invite a chapter member to help host an event. And the more you include everyone in the organizing, the more everyone feels a sense of ownership in the chapter. Organizing as a team can lead to a kind of magic that I think of as the synergize to energize process. So when you come up with a shared goal and you keep the lines of communication flowing, you share feedback, positive and negative, encouraging and constructive, maybe I should say. And then lots of encouragement. It really creates some positive energy. And we're very fortunate in Montana to have a superstar encourager on our team.
Yes, can't refuse Laurel. I do like to ask people to dance.
So I think the magic happens in the interactions of this loop as the planning goes on. So here's an example from Bill Barron's recent Montana visit. Our Montana team had identified a shared goal of make it fun. We had a spreadsheet that we shared, so we were tracking events. Everybody had their date and time of their events. We had an email thread where we were providing updates and feedback and encouragement. And it ended up being a great tour. So it really worked. So Bill happened to be in Missoula on February 14. And in the midst of all that creative team energy, I decided to host a Valentine's Day dance with the theme, Celebrate What You Love. I love dancing, and I enjoyed bringing people in to help make this event happen. I recruited some members of my church who were musicians. I got a dance caller from the local folklore society. And then, of course, chapter members helped with the marketing and the event setup and cleanup, and a couple members set up a table, excuse me, with where people could sign a constituent letter in support of the Big Fires Act. Including others in the planning resulted in increased attendance. Members of my church came. The members of the Missoula Folklore Society were looking for a place to dance on Valentine's Day. So we had a whole group of dancers come. It was really fun. And as that often happens, there was some synergy with this event in that we increased and we're building chapter participation. We did a little community education, and we had a little bit of constituent lobbying.
Best dressed ever. Constituent letter writers.
Yeah.
The gold dress.
Now to you, Angie.
Thanks, Mary. Yay! Yay!
So I've introduced myself previously, but again, Angie, co-leader, and I'm eternally grateful to Robin for recruiting me to join this organization. It's been outstanding. So I was actually born and raised near Dayton, Ohio, and some of my earliest memories are actually in the garden with my father. I'm one of 7 siblings, and one of the things he would let us do in the fall after the tomato plants had all died, there would still be green tomatoes left on the plants and sometimes ripe ones as well. And so he would let us go out into the garden and basically have a tomato fight with each other.
Yeah.
And if you have ever been struck by a green tomato, it really, it really hurt.
Wow,
So anyway,
awesome.
that's the childhood joy part is I learned from my father this joy of all the living things that are on the earth. So then if you fast forward to 2006, that was the first time my husband and I and our 2 children, you can see at various stages of development here on this slide. And that was the first time we ever visited Glacier National Park. And over several summers, we quickly realized what an absolutely beautiful place Montana is in general. And I'm quite partial to the northwest corner of Montana, which is where we now live. So when we retired to Montana in 2017, I was off of 30 years of working in human resources and I was absolutely exhausted. So for the first 2 years, I did nothing other than just enjoy being outdoors. But then I realized that those very outdoors that I treasure are threatened and that I needed to do something. So I started looking around for ways to advocate. And that's when I found CCL and here I am. So I try and find ways to combine that childhood joy and the leadership skills that I learned in that 30-year career. I try and combine those 2 things together. So yes, my 2 children that I absolutely adore.
What river is that?
That's the North Fork of the Flathead, which runs along one side of Glacier National Park. That picture where we're hiking is the Highline Trail in Glacier National Park. So that's Logan Pass behind us. And then that's us skiing at our local resort, Whitefish Mountain Resort. So yes, always trying to have some fun. So as Robin mentioned at the beginning, we do have goals set for the number of presentations we're making in the community and other educational goals, which you can see at the bottom of the slide there. So I'm really thrilled to say that 2024 is off to an absolutely energizing start. The public is, I think, drawn to the pub talks for the beer. Or maybe it's the format, 20 minutes plus Q&A is about the attention span of a lot of folks. Or maybe it is the topics ranging from climate advocacy to forestry to health. On the right-hand side here, you can see a book signing event that was held at a local bookstore featuring our own CCL volunteer, Sister Maria Grapwall. She is a published author, so she was signing her book. And then Bill Barron was signing his book. So I think if you just have even a 5-minute conversation with your volunteers, you can discover things about them that are unique. And if you can pull on those unique things, like someone being a published author, you can find ways to get to demographics that you might not otherwise reach. In the center, you can see that we have partnered with other organizations for outreach. So that was an event called Free the Seeds. We tabled at that event and Robin made a presentation about electrifying your future. And then the bottom is a joint meeting that was held with the League of Women Voters and the Yellowstone Valley Citizens Council. Those center 2 pictures also demonstrate that our outreach doesn't ever end with just the event itself. Laurel and her social media team work very hard to extend that reach by posting on social media and publicizing them. And that way we get also some additional demographics. So some takeaways from this in terms of how to make it fun. different and interesting venues, partnering with other organizations, having appealing topics, and the beer does help. So it's probably becoming apparent just with the three of us that have talked so far that these strategies don't operate independently. They're like threads in a tapestry. Education involves volunteers, which then results in volunteer development and quite often results in recruiting new volunteers. So we're finding that our outreach programs are having a profound impact on our relationships with local organizations. To give you a recent example, last November, we attended the Regional Climate Symposium that was hosted by the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. We made 2 presentations and we served on a panelist. During Bill Barron's recent visit to Montana, Mike Derglow, who's here in the center from CSKT, hosted a meeting with Bill and Laurel and invited no less than 4 other tribal members. I'm convinced that never would have happened if we hadn't first been part of their symposium. Those of you that know me well, and there's 4 or so that in the room, I'm typically a pretty serious get her done kind of gal. So sometimes I struggle with the social aspects of events, hence why I departed rapidly from the dancing. You noticed that. So it's saying something when I tell you that making it fun and social will attract people in a way that a 45-minute presentation on carbon pricing and cashback won't. Shocking, I know. So after the isolation of the pandemic, I think being in person cements relationships. Zoom's just not going to ever do that for us. So at many of our gatherings, we now hear people exclaim, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to finally meet you in person." And so our meetings have the added benefit of local organizations and individuals making connections with each other. We had a lot of talk in our strategy session about whether we, CCL, have a role to be like an overall climate organizer. There are a zillion climate and environmental, and we're all off doing our own stuff. So should we be trying to pull all these people together? Ultimately, we decided that that's not our role, but we're trying to invite other organizations to participate and help them make connections with each other. And I think that's a very important thing to do. We've also found that our endorsers are willing to come out and support us. We just need to ask them. That then impresses the other people that are there and creates fertile additional ground for endorsements. So each of these photos is an example of a gathering that I could not have envisioned 3 years ago. Relationships work, and our credibility as a trustworthy organization and one with solutions has incredible momentum. So takeaways, again, interesting venues, partnering, make it social, invite influential people, and don't be afraid to say someone influential is at the meeting. We got a lot of people at these gatherings because we were throwing some names around. So don't be afraid to do that. And again, the beard. So my mother always told us, I don't ever want to see you in the paper. Right? But with CCL, I think it's actually a source of honor and a source of pride. So we have a really strong outreach strategy that includes print media. And our specific goal is to get as many members as possible for each Montana chapter to submit letters to the editor and to get them logged in the action tracker, which is probably the harder part, actually. So far this year, we've had almost 15 LTEs from 5 different authors, which is also important. You don't always want the same people. And in my opinion, one of the factors that has contributed to our success is the process. So we actually have volunteers who monitor the paper for relevant articles. We call those hooks. Those hooks are then distributed to our writing team who reference the hook in their LTE. So something like in Tuesday's paper, there was an article on such and such, and then you go on. And it really seems to resonate with those editorial boards. They like seeing something mentioned about something in their paper. So of course, we take advantage of these letters to provide information on local issues and how they relate to our policy agenda and solutions. We also occasionally hold letter writing parties. Most of them have been done via Zoom so far, but I really think there's power. Like I was having so much fun writing postcards this morning, just 10 minutes, right? So if we can get people just to come out again with a beer and sit down and write a letter, I think it could be really, really powerful. So we also take advantage of the monthly op-ed templates that CCL National provides. And Patty is here as a tremendous example of someone that we have partnered with to write op-eds. It is extremely powerful if we can have another name and another organization on the author line. So Hattie, thank you for all of that work that you've been doing with Alex. It's absolutely amazing. And I think Alex Amonette in particular has developed some really strong relationships with our media outlets. And so that's part of how we're getting so much success in getting letters published across the state. And I think for many of the states that we are operating in the Mountain West, we have this interesting combination of urban environments and then a lot of rural territory. So it's really important to get those articles in those rural newspapers if we're going to change minds and hearts. So we've had 20 op-eds this year, just so far, from 7 different authors or writing pairs. I mean, that's massive. And so we always amplify those on social media as well. Everybody knows mentioning MOCs by name is huge. So the takeaways here are a lot of it's about partnering. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Laurel to talk about lobbying. Oh, yeah, Joe.
Okay,
Hit us.
so a tree walks into a bar and the bartender said, "What do you have?" And the tree says, "Anything but a lager."
Thank you.
All right, so I'm Laurel, and for 20 years, I've owned a small business in the Dominican Republic. And my job has basically been to have fun. So I feel extremely highly qualified today to talk to you about this. That's me, just out of the water from kite surfing or wing foiling. You can see the ocean in the background. The office is right there on the beach. The infinity pool where we have pool parties. These are my guys and that I work with, the Dominicans, a couple of Haitian guys, some of the guests. So that's been kind of what I've been up to for the last, 20 years and 3 years of working with CCL. And I try to bring a lot of that same joy and spirit that I have from outdoor recreation into the work that I do with the Montana team and with Bill in the region. So yeah.
You're also gonna bring us down to the Dominican Republic.
We do the Mountain West Regional Conference in Dominican Republic. We're talking about Vegas and Joanne was like, "It's expensive." I mean, DR is not that expensive. So lobbying can be so fun. If you have been to DC to lobby your member of Congress, stand up.
If you have been.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. Right? Good job. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. If you lobbied virtually, stand up. Okay, okay.
I just sit on the phone and listen.
And if you thought that lobbying was not fun, get out immediately. No, no, I'm joking. So these are real life CCLers and I watch them be transformed. We talk about breakthroughs and transformation. They've got a conservative, extremely conservative congressman, and they're going through a lot of pollution fights, local pollution fights. They were not excited to go to an in-district meeting. So we had a party, we had a potluck, and through the night, more and more started joining. And then in the morning, we had a big scramble to get them trained to still lobby because we knew that they were like kind of angry at this representative because he's so conservative and there's all this pollution in their district. And so Bill Barron, in his very calm way, told him how to give the appreciation. We had him do the asks. We walk into the district office. A young staffer says, "Oh, it's so great to see you. I love Kristen, your volunteer." And he started off with that big open arms and that big love. We had a great hour meeting with the staff and we left with these people transformed by that experience. They were like, "You mean we could just, instead of like fighting with them at the city council meetings, we could just invite them to a coffee?" We're like, yeah, you can do that. So that was amazing and really fun for me. Now wait, where's the arrow?
Page down.
Oh, page down, thank you. Playing ping pong with your member of Congress, extremely fun. So this is Congressman Curtis and the volunteers from this region. They built that relationship up. They didn't
Actually,
just,
that's our state legislator.
oh, right there, amazing.
Yes, thank you.
And that's your husband.
And that's my husband.
Yeah, and there's Bill and there's Dennis.
Then the guy in the back with the green shirt, he's a state legislator as well.
Lauren, do you want to tell us how fun it was?
It was pretty fun. You know, it was actually Representative Curtis said like he squeezed in 15 minutes in between here and there. And I think his staff was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this." But he showed up. But because he was coming, we were able to get a lot of state legislators to come.
Oh, yeah.
And
Amazing.
so that was
leverage, dropping the names.
They were there for a while. So
I was playing ping pong with Ray Ward. He didn't want to talk. He just wanted to play ping pong.
Curtis played? Yeah, Curtis played. Yeah, that's not him, but yeah, he played. If you follow CCL Wasatch back on Instagram, you'll see the pics of Curtis. I found them this morning. Yeah, so bring fun into it. Good job, ping pong players. So turns out that you can have an enjoyable time doing a Zoom meeting. Yeah, yeah. So this was in the fall. Robin was our liaison and our meeting lead. This is November, and you can see the staffers there. Robin made the planning of the meeting very fun. She made it fun because she knows her job. She gives people jobs. And she's like, cool as a cucumber, those ducks that you see and they're floating across the surface and then underneath they're just like paddling. You're just like, that looks so serene. She said, Robin's like, cool as a cucumber. So that's good. So we enjoyed our lobby planning meeting. And then we got very lucky in that the staff, this man in particular, high up into the congressman's office, is a jokester. He was joking with us immediately, and the atmosphere on the Zoom call, which is hard to create, but atmosphere on the Zoom call was awesome. The chemistry was good, and we did the lobbying. We did our first ask. Luca, who's a young person who's in our chapter and also in Mary's chapter, he did the ask, and then the staffer said, "We didn't get your second ask. I realized we didn't get your second ask. Book another appointment."
Wow.
And at this point, we were shocked, but we didn't ask questions. We just booked the other appointment. We returned the next week with the same awesome group. We did the second meeting, and that was amazing. And so we felt like we left that Zoom being like, could we just like hang out with these people? These are pretty conservative.
And I want to mention that the two gentlemen in the middle, first time, they're new members and first time lobby.
Yeah, so make
So yeah, make sure, and they had a role. They
And-
had
an important one.
important roles, yeah.
And I can tell you that it worked. I have cried exactly one time during my CCL work. It was not out of sadness, it was tears of joy. And it was this week when I received notice that the office has officially going to co-sponsor. And if you read this part here, our participation in this bill is completely due to you and your team. Thanks very much for educating us and for being so great to work with.
Wow.
I was like, this is the first time that I had the experience of communicating something about like helping farmers, ranchers, and forest owners. Let's get them personal trainers to like tap into climate smart practices. I love it. So it's amazing. So our district field rep and the chief of staff of the congressman were at our little meet and greet that we had, just casual. We spent the 30-minute, we spent 27 of the 30 minutes on introductions at this meeting. And then after the protracted introductions, the new member asked, and she's very formal, how much time do we have today? 27 minutes had passed, and they were like 30 minutes, and you could see her face, she was a little shocked. The thing that I love most, well, first off, the staff or the chief of staff said, thank you for the way that you work. And we were like, yes, we appreciate that. These two are buddies. So the staff and our volunteer, they grew up together right here in our local town. My favorite thing about this photo is that both Angie and Robin are wearing their ski jackets. So, yes, yes. So that's it. So, you know what's really fun? Puns. Puns are very fun. So Instagram Reels are really fun. So I definitely recommend that you leverage Instagram Reels. Did you log into Instagram?
Yeah, I did. So
I think we have time to.
we escape out of this.
Yeah. And we go to Instagram. I'm gonna show you. So
I don't know which one you wanna.
Oh yeah, let's go to Reels. I want to show you a couple examples. The first one is the dead, oh, we're on Reels. The really, really easy one. Hattie mentioned in yesterday's panel. Uh-oh. Log in. Is that okay if I log in? Yeah, and then I'm gonna go up. The snowman protest. Obviously, snowman protest, extremely fun. Okay, I'm just gonna search. I'm gonna find CCL Montana. Bear with me. CCL Montana. I'd like to invite you all to follow us on social. Okay, so I'm gonna click over to Reels in the center, and that's where you can see what different chapters are doing, get some inspiration. By the way, that's in the entire speech from Congressman Curtis was an Instagram Live. So the whole thing is on there. If ever you need some inspiration, get back on there. Okay. So here is, and then I'm gonna have to also do the volume.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy's feet are too big for him.
It was raining during the snow of February in northern Montana. So it was, yeah, it should not be raining.
It should not be raining.
Yeah, so Robin filmed this video, Save My Brother, hashtag.
The kids came up with this. Save my brother.
So what Robin did is that she took her little phone, she made a little video, she found the song, and then boom, she uploaded it. And this one has a heck of, I think it's like 400 views. And they're not all me. They're not all me. And then I wanted to show you one from the last day of the Make It Fun tour, where we had some real fun. Oops.
When you make a reel, does it just, it stays on your, it's not like a story where it just disappears?
No, it's not like a story. Oh, it doesn't want to play.
I run our social media for our chapter, and I'm often flummoxed.
With what's a reel and what's a story?
Well, just with Instagram in general.
I don't know what
I have no idea.
Okay,
Such a good.
so what I did here was I took photos during the day. So I just snap. She's an Olympic medalist. We got to ski with her. It's really fun to ski with
She's
a
amazing.
professional downhill ski racer. If you can find one of those, she's just like. And then at the end of the day, you select the photos, and then you choose the song, and then you write a little caption. I really went crazy and tagged people and did the hashtags in there. And then what we have here is a memory that we will savor and savor and savor and savor and savor, because you can go back to it and be like, oh, we had so much fun that day. So do that. I highly recommend that you do that. And Lauren, I can give you coaching.
Okay, maybe today, before we leave, we
Yeah.
can make a reel.
Yeah.
I would like to be in on that, because I have no idea. My
Okay,
daughter
we'll
just got
make
me on
it together.
Instagram.
And then I don't know how to make it full screen. Yeah, question and answer. Question and answer.
No.
There are some questions that you do not want to know the answer to. They are not important. They are not important. So questions other than the Instagram reel. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're all retired.
Yes.
And I know that often
true.
when people are retired, they're even busier than before. But for those of us who are not and still working full time, and we want to engage people in our chapter who are also of various ages.
Mhm.
I think these are all great ideas, but do you have any way of like synthesize, like sort of like calling people? Of course, calling people is wonderful. And as you're talking, like, oh, I'm calling people more. But at the same time, you know, when your time is just like a little more limited.
Short.
Yeah, do you have any tips for that?
No, because we all have like unlimited time.
Right.
And we are like love our job and have so much fun working together that we're just like, oh yeah, we'll do that.
I think one idea is just like the 1 hour morning walks. You
Yeah.
know, just pick a day and just say it's because, you know, if you can tell them it's only going to be like 45 minutes to an hour and it's a local place, you know, and it can just be a walk around the block of your town, but it's more fun if you head out on a little trail. I think that's really so, I mean, to talk with people for 45 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, and get to know them, it's just really a great opportunity.
One of the things that Robin introduced to me is a calling team. So you have a group of people, like you don't do the calling, but you have a group of people who do the calling, and not every single person will call if you have a few people, you can have calling.
For meeting reminders, yeah.
Well, or for, you could do it
That's
for
true.
events too.
It's true, yeah.
I think part of my challenge, though, maybe you all feel the same, is that like even if you personally will take, you know, your time to do all this stuff, it's getting other people to help because you want to have a team.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you want someone who's not going to cause you to take even more time
Right.
to follow up to see if they did it.
Yeah.
How do you engage other people to take on that responsibilities who are also
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Yeah, your state coordinator, Robin.
So I think it all boils down to you actually make a lot of calls and asks.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate, but keep in mind that eventually you're going to be able to ask people to do some things for you. But the initial work is you calling and asking. And, you know, like I had, I forgot what it was. I had waited almost to the last minute for something and I needed help. It was tabling at Free the Seeds.
Yeah.
And I just went through my list. I had like 16 people that I knew that were somewhat active. And Laurel jumped in and offered to call half of them, and I got 8 volunteers.
Yeah.
So and that was just days before the event.
Yeah.
So
And
it
those were
just-
quick calls too.
yeah.
Can you help? Yes.
Yeah,
you
can you
know.
help? So it's just, if they're used to you calling and asking and just have the mindset that it's okay if they say no, you know, go into it knowing they could say no
Yeah.
and just.
Find a retired chapter.
Yes. Yes. And beer. No. And I have a I have a note on my notes app called Waiting For. And so if I do ask somebody to do something, I just write down Lauren Instagram reel. What's it? I gotta write that down. Yeah, the Waiting For. It's from the Getting Things Done by David Allen. It's a good tip for organizing your, you know, when you're a manager and you're kind of. So what fun are you going to have back in your local chapters? This is the time where we put you on the spot to pair up with your neighbor and tell them what you are going to do. So on your marks, get set,
Perfect.
go. Partner up and do some.
On that side,
Yeah.
so
I'm
happy.
I am not sure. Drink beer. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys make a motion?
Well, there's 4.
Oh, there's 4. Oh.
4.
In a
chapter.
Okay, so that was.
Good.
Okay.
I'm excited, guy.
Wait, are there?
Wait, I'm sorry.
The take home messages.
The pubs are bad. Yes, it
Oh,
was.
okay.
Oh,
You gotta, go for coffee.
That's also.
Okay.
Kind of we've done a number of the potlucks. There's situation on. I think like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's usually the same people coming to those all the time.
Yeah,
And,
you have to call. I mean, it doesn't work.
yeah.
I'm a chapter leader.
Yeah, I've interacted.
And Wednesday, we're having a ski climate.
And then I mean,
Load Legos.
it's done for- I always learn my way. Like, she won't.
Yeah.
There's like a potluck that is- But as far as the local community, it's actually.
Right.
Where you think. You know, I'm not saying. It's like-
Yeah.
it's like-
Okay, yeah, I know, but we told me, yeah.
But the students are like.
That was fun.
Really serious.
And
And it's.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah, so we're
I'm like,
gonna.
that would be
When I was.
Yes.
I would be nice. to sponsor you.
It worked.
So probably.
That's.
Generational.
So if you're working with a younger
I mean, you've already ordered it.
No climate panel. For whatever reason. So. The new thing is
really
I'm trying to get our.
Measure.
I think that's all the time. I'm excited. I've never been around people like that. I actually like. On my dog. Right.
Oh, that-
Except for maybe so. Volunteer.
Because
Something.
we're doing it one day on the table.
Right.
Yeah,
That's part, you know, you work
for
for
the kids.
because
My bandwidth is.
I work for the percentages. They would get, I mean, it's pretty
I
low.
would say one at
It's the 21st.
Yeah,
and
it's
signs
low.
up actually.
But, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, if I.
We've already gotten it. Oh.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if he's gotten it yet.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So it's not
That'd be
something
awesome.
don't-
They'll be ready.
Supporting.
Sorry.
Right,
Yeah.
Hey, grab my phone.
That's a helpful. Like. Upping up the frequency of like. Well, let me know. Smaller. We can help get it on. So it gives you.
It's green down.
Right, so, yeah.
That's
Exactly.
There is.
That- that-
There's this.
Out there.
Like
Walking area.
I seen a couple of events.
It's actually, it's where I originally started.
It's like really rehear them. I was talking to him about CCL. And then the next week. Like.
Yeah, I mean, we,
And I'm gonna hand out chunks.
Oh, yeah. Right. I'm gonna get, well, I'm gonna get rid of those.
Just. Actually, there is something.
And look like you are. It just turned me on to this.
I gotta write that down. I don't have the app.
They're, great idea. One of our, neighbors, all the big we're ordering solar.
It is Thursday.
I'm like,
Thursday. Try to.
from the press. Yeah, I'm finding printed. Oh, that's that.
You know, it's so forward to it.
Really?
I haven't.
Oh, you have it, oh.
So.
Yeah, please do.
Let's do the way.
Oh,
In front of the screen. Get this out of the way. Yeah, line up in front of the screen. We're gonna end the, make it fun by doing the wave. You know the wave? Get up there, leave your coffee. Yeah. Up here. Get it up there. Up there, the wave. So Dave, up there, and then we're just gonna, we cannot know the wave. Yeah, we're gonna start at, one end, and then we are gonna wave and end with Robin. So we'll start over here.
Okay, are we gonna wave?
No.
Okay,
We're gonna wave.
Okay, you made me, yes, you made me
Yes.
give a little.
Yes, that one.
That one.
Okay, so on your rights, get set, go.
And back down, right?
Oh.
I think that was good.
That's supposed
I think that was really good.
What's this human pyramid?
No, hands in the middle. Oh, hands in the middle is gonna be way easier.
Team fun.
Okay, on three, team fun.
One.
1, 2, 3, team fun.
You want to help the chairs back if you want?
Or, no, that's not fun. Out you go. Out you go. I refuse to have you help me with my bad, chair.
Chair alignments.
Yeah. Please,
Or lack
please.
of.
Go grab a coffee, go to the bathroom. The rest of the, conference is in the main ballroom.
Okay.
It's gonna be really great. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That was
I hope to
fun.
have a lot of fun.
Good, good.
Thank you.
Go out and have fun.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it is? Okay.
You can help.
Yeah, then you get to help.
Was there another room up
I
here?
think so.
Okay. Try.
Oh, did somebody leave a folder?